Well, with that in mind, Dane, that brings us to our featured author this evening, our new friend Nancy Merrill, who is going to come up and be our featured author and share with us her brand new children's book, Elf Dust. Nancy is the mother of 2 children born in Hong Kong, where she lived and worked for many years, and then experiences part of the origin story for Elf Dust. Now she is a member of our Low Country literary community, and we're glad to welcome her this evening for open mic. But she's also going to be back with us on Saturday here at the Conroy Center for a drop-in book signing that afternoon from 2 to 4. So thank you for being here tonight, Nancy. Come on up, please.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. I've driven past here so many times and never thought for a minute I would ever be here doing something like this. So this is an honor. So as Jonathan said, I was in Hong Kong. I had a 3-year-old, very energetic, very excited about Christmas. But we had no chimney and no rooftop for Santa to land upon. So I think, like all creative things, I'm tortured with what to do for this kid. And driving to work one day, all of a sudden, it hit me. Elf dust. Where did that come from? I don't know. I found out where I could buy glitter in Hong Kong, went home, grabbed it, put little spritzes of it by the leg of a chair or by a vase or behind a lamp where an elf is going to be looking to see and watching children. So I took my son there for the first time, and I knew he'd go nuts, and he did. And he saw it and just went, "Oh, Mommy, wow, when were they here?" I said, "I don't know. What did they look like?" I said, "Honey, it could have been a girl." "Oh, yeah." But then came the real question. Was I being good? Oh. So we go to the playground, and he tells his friends, and all of a sudden, I have at least 10 kids around me, and they're looking at me going, "Can we see?" So up we go into the apartment. He shows them what he'd found, and they're like archaeologists at a dig. They're looking at this going, "Whoa, look at this." And they're all talking about what it was about. It was magical. It really was so much better than I ever imagined. And when I realized 2 years later how well it had worked, because he took his sister, who was now old enough to understand what this was about, and showed it to her. She went to touch it. He pulls her back and says, "You can't touch it. You'll become an elf." It worked. It worked. And all the moms in the neighborhood said, "Okay, what's this?" I got a whole bunch of elf dust. I gave it to them. They all did it. So every day, everywhere we lived until they stopped believing, some kid would come to the playground going, "It's in my house too." So it was absolutely magical beyond my wildest dreams. So, but that was 32 years ago. My son is now 35. So back then, my friend said, because I was a reporter, a journalist, and then into marketing and business writing, "You need to write it." And I'm like, "No, I'm not a children's book writer. I don't have that skill." So I had great excuses to say, "Yeah, no." But it planted a seed that wouldn't stop nagging me. And my excuses ran out a couple years ago when I finally said, "Okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write it. It's going to be terrible, so then I can just put this to bed for good." It wasn't. I finished it and went, wow, I like it. Took it to teachers and librarians and said, "Okay, stop me before I do damage." And they said, "No, this is one, the kids will love this." So found a publisher. 18 months was eaten up in the process of illustrators. That was challenging and difficult. And I almost, a couple of times, put the project to bed because it was really just too challenging. But the voice, whatever that voice, it morphed into this nagging presence. And so finally I had one more list of illustrators, got through 14 of them. There were 15 on the list. on a Friday, the last interview, I almost didn't do it, was with Colleen Scroy, who did this art, which if you haven't seen it, I get to brag about it because I didn't do it. She's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, the most wonderful person. So we talk, I said, all right, I'll call you Monday, and she knew that I was really not, I almost didn't do it. Saturday I get an email from her, and she said, okay, I so want to do this. I want to cut my rates a little bit for you to make it easier for you to do this. And she had given me colored pencil drawings of how she would treat the elf. So the conversation and this, I went, wait, what? Oh my God, called her right away, and okay, let's go. And I asked her, you know, when do you want to start? And she basically said, how about right now? Okay, and she rocked that deadline with me like nobody could have. So and you know how you meet people where you just work hand in glove, and I found a sister. She's just the most wonderful person. And when you put something together like this, you all know, it's quite the experience, and it's a new one for me. So when the book was finished, and this is the epilogue to the whole thing that is also a goosebumps moment that when I think about it, I still get goosebumps. I sent the book to my cousin, and she's kind of the family historian. And she reminded me that my grandmother and her great aunt Linda, who ended up raising her, in my grandmother's adult years, they collaborated on children's books. And they always wanted to be published. My cousin reminded me that they never were. So the final line of her email was, thank you so much for carrying on the creative tradition and publishing your book. You closed the loop for two important women in our family. Whoa. And I adored my grandmother. I didn't know my Aunt Linda very well. She died when I was little. But so to say it's been an experience is an understatement. And then all the response to the book has just been gratifying, especially when I get, my son sends me text messages from his friends who have children, and I'll leave out the expletives, but Rob, your mom's book is effing amazing. I had to read it to my daughter 15 times in a row. So it's like, it's come full circle. So it's been a wonderful experience. Thank you for having me, and I'll just read it to you. I'll see it. I don't know if you've seen the photos, but so here, this is basically a message from Santa to children. So it's Christmas season, and the North Pole is humming. Boys and girls round the world know Christmas is coming. Santa and his elves happily work round the clock to make sure children's wishes will all be in stock. Once the toys are all made, to each child's delight, there is one last job that requires a flight. Santa's list must be checked before Christmas Eve night to see if all children have been naughty or nice. That's when the elves start to travel and roam. They peek in on children right there in their homes. They hide to observe each child as they play, so Santa will know what to load on his sleigh. These nimble little elves, all dressed in green, fly in and out and cannot be seen. Even pets on the prowl won't know they've been there. These elves just know, and won't know they're inside, sorry. These elves just know the best place to hide. But there is one way that you'll know they've been there. Check around the house, beneath table and chair. They will leave a small trace, something only elves sprinkle, like candy on ice cream. It's part of their twinkle. As they prepare to fly off, they snap their elf fingers, disappear in a wink. Only elf dust will linger. Shiny red and bright green, this elf dust is unique. It lets all kids know elves were there for a peek. It won't last for long though. Elves don't leave a mess. The dust will evaporate, and when, you can't guess. Once in a while, they lose an elf slipper, found by the dust, and for you, it's a keeper. So heads up, boys and girls, elves are soon on their way. They can't wait to see you happily at play.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute, question.
Please.
So tell us, what did you do about the elf shoes? Did you plant one?
You know, that's going to be a next year thing. I had this great idea that I was going to try to crochet enough that I could sell the books, and I quickly found out, yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I do have little red velvet bags of glitter, that's the elf dust, that when I sell them in person, not on the website, then I have that. But next year it'll be a way to try to put this together with a slipper and the dust, maybe I don't know. I mean, I got the book the second week in October. So it's been quite the hustle to try to get it into as many children's hands as possible. Because, I mean, the response has been what it was back in the day. I mean, my son's 35. The children that I've been reading this to and that friends will tell me their experiences of the book is the same. A lot is changing in our world today. Children love this. They love the imagination. There's one little boy in Hong Kong, his mother overheard him ask the dog, "Did you see the elf?" I mean, this is how, and the kid, it just overtakes them because
You know, it's the missing link. We always tell children, Santa knows that if you've been bad or good. Well, how in the hell does he know? And this is it. This is the way. This is a new way.
And the thing I love about this, and no disrespect to anyone who's done another derivation of elves and homes and kids, this requires the child to think about their own elf. Because when my children would find the dust, I would say, so what do you think? What'd they look like? And each of my kids had different ideas of what that elf looked like and what they were doing. And so, to me, creativity is born of using your imagination. Enough already with screens. Okay, they're something we need, but the kids need to be away from it to imagine and have that magical stuff going on in their brains.
Show us the illustration of you in the back.
Yeah, that's so great.
She said, well, we got to put photography in, and I just went, really? I mean, no, I don't need any more photos. So we did that.
Darling.
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. So the whole thing has been fun. Standing here with you all here in this place is fun. So it's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's absolutely magical, and it actually transported me back just that quick, emotionally, to the time when I was a child and the essence of Christmas. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous, and the wording and the artwork together is absolutely magical. And I loved your presentation. You telling the story. You're going to do really, really well selling.
Thank you.
And it's easy. It's memorizable. My sister and I memorized the night before Christmas, and we can both recite it still to this day. That is recitable. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
It's beautiful.
And the fact that so many families are reading this throughout this whole month, and how much the kids have loved it. I mean, we all know when your work is appreciated, it just warms your heart. And this started from loving my son and wanting him to have something special. And then someone pointed out, well, there's an awful lot of kids who are in the same boat. They don't have chimneys. They live in places where you don't have snow. You don't have, so this is going to give them an avenue into that whole magical Santa Christmas experience. So yeah, it's just been all good, all really good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.